Welcome to a fun handwriting lesson. We've been learning the cursive loop letters, and today we're going to be using our loop letters, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a different way. Now, normally we would be using paper for our loop letters. Today, I'm using a different form of paper. This is a paper towel from my kitchen, the kind I can throw away. And we're going to be practicing our loop letters on it, which I know sounds a bit silly. However, wait till you see. When we're making our loop letters, there's two important letters that help us get off to the right track in this family, and that is the E and the L. And it's not just the E and the L that are important, but it's the size of their loop. I'm going to be using some markers today, and you will be too. These are washable markers. You can choose whatever colors you would enjoy choosing in order to do this work. I'm today going to be choosing, I think I'm going to do a pink, a purple, and a green. I think I'm going to do green, pink, purple, and green. I want us to focus on the size of the loops of the letters that we create. So to start us off, I'm going to use my green marker, and I'm going to make an E. To make my E, remember, for Ellen, she goes up, does a backflip, and comes back down. Here's Ellen. She goes up, does a backflip, and comes back down. Notice the size of Ellen's loop. Let's look at Larry. Larry is taller. So Larry goes up just like Ellen, but jumps higher because he's taller. Does a backflip and comes back down. Here's Larry. He's taller, so he goes up, does a backflip, and comes back down. Ellen and Larry. When I say we're going to be careful to watch the size of our loops, up here, I'm going to do some letters that are not so loopy. Actually, they're too loopy. They're not the best loops. This would not be a good Ellen, and this would not be a good Larry. Notice the size of Ellen and Larry's loops. They're very large. When we're making our loop letters, we want to make sure that we keep a very dainty and delicate loop, like you see here and here. Let me practice a few more. This time I'm going to do an E connected to an L, connected to an E, connected to an L. Up, back, flip E, up, back, flip L, up, back, flip E, up, back, flip L. Now we could also show this in not so good loops. These are dainty and delicate loops. Remember, these are not the kind of loops we're looking for. Let's take a peek at what that would look like if we did some big loops. Notice when I'm practicing on my paper towel, I have to hold it. You can see here how my E is a bit large in the loop and large here. Here I made it a bit small. It's much more difficult to read. I can do it one more time. This time, I'm going to do L, E, L, E. Up, backwards, flip L. Up, backwards, flip E. Up, backward, flip L. Up, backward, flip E. I could show it with loops that are not as dainty and delicate. Here's an example of that. You can see here the difference in size of the loops. Dainty and delicate, not so careful. So here you have in the top example, loops that are not in the form that would be for our loop letter family. They're too large or they're too small. In our bottom row, we have the dainty and delicate loops of the E and the L. For this work, now that I've made my loops that I know fit the loop letter family, dainty and delicate, I'm actually going to take my marker of another color, and outside of that, I'm going to do my next color, just so I can get more practice in tracing my letters. I've now got green and pink. And I'm going to do it one more time with my purple. So now I'll trace again in my purple. And this is, again, just wonderful practice in our ability to make our loops. When you're doing this on a paper towel, you see how I'm having to hold my paper towel like I hold my paper? It takes a little more work. But it's the end of our cursive work today that's going to be amazing. All right. I have traced 3 colors today, and now I'm going to take my water dish that I use for my watercolor and my watercolor paintbrush. And these are washable markers, so when I make them wet, let's see what happens. I'm going to get a beautiful piece of artwork where my cursive, from my dainty, close and careful letters, start to run together and make a beautiful pattern. And you'll notice that I have 2 paper towels. I have one underneath of here too, so that it doesn't run onto my desk. And this is a fun work for taking time to practice our loops and then see our cursive practice as art. Another thing you'll notice is because we took such careful time with our loops to make sure that they were appropriate size, delicate and dainty, you'll notice that as I'm making my art, you can see how the colors can spread inward and my loops become filled in with the green, the very first color that I put down. You can see how that fills to the center for a really neat piece of work. What were to happen if I were to put water on my letters that maybe perhaps I wasn't so careful with my loops? Let's look how that fills in. You're going to see that there's a lot more white space because I wasn't able to properly make my loop on my E or my L. So this work shows us a really nice way of practicing making our loops to make sure that we form them nice and delicate and dainty, leaving space, just enough width in how wide our L and our E are. I'd love for you to practice your L and your E so that we can get our loop letter family practice in this very fun way together. Make sure when you finish this work, if this is a work that you'd like to keep because of its beauty, even what's underneath is beautiful, make sure that you hang it somewhere to dry. And then when you're finished, be certain to put your water back away, pouring it into the sink, rinsing out your paintbrush, and restoring it in your environment. Have fun practicing your loop letters here with the L and E cursive and some markers and watercolor.